Hello, I'm Hannah, and for my first official video on YouTube, I thought I would review Havenfall by Sara Holland. It is a young adult contemporary fantasy novel that is set in the fictional village of Havenfall, Colorado. I assume it's fictional. Our protagonist, Maddie Morrow, goes to Havenfall to spend the summer there with her uncle. And Havenfall it's like the connection point between the different magical realms. Havenfall is an inn, or like a hotel really, that is at the junction point between the different magical realms. And on the back it says, Maddie's destiny is here, rooted in her family's promise to protect the fragile alliance between worlds. But then there's a murder, and suddenly Maddie has to protect the place that is her home, more so than the place where she lives normally. And I really loved this book. At the beginning, it took a while to get into the magic of it. It was a lot of building up and why Maddie loves Havenfall so much. But then when things started to happen, I realized I was suddenly fully invested in the characters. Like, I was there for them. Maddie in particular, she was my favourite. At first, I found Maddie a bit annoying because it was like she didn't understand that she was the protagonist in her own story. But then I finally realised that she has imposter syndrome and everything kind of clicked into place, and all her worrying and confusion at the start made sense. And there was a lovely line on page 20. Dark, unreadable eyes examine my face, and the scrutiny freezes me, makes me want to shrink away. It brings me back to my home in Stirling and the constant stares of everyone there, where I keep my head down and walk fast, hoping to stay under the radar. But that's not who I am here, not in the mountains, and not at Havenfall. So she has this really interesting duality where she has this imposter syndrome and lack of confidence, but she has this fire and this strength that every so often it just pops out, and it's really amazing to just watch her go on that journey from just not knowing who she is or what she can do to the final outcome. But I'll get more into that in the next video, which is a critical analysis of the character Maddie Morrow. The bulk of the novel revolves around the meeting of the realms at Havenfall. So each of the realms, Burn and Fjordankill, which are the only two that are left, apart from Solaria, who have been kind of like kicked out. Nobody wants to speak to them anymore. So we have this big party at Havenfall where Burn and Fjordankill come together, and we have this big mishmash of different cultures and different magic systems and different ways of magic working and different personalities, and then also the diplomatic problems that happen when a bunch of different people come together from different governments and political parties and races, and they have a big party. So it's really fun and interesting to read those things coming together and developing, and then Maddie navigating those waters and figuring herself out in that situation. I was a little bit annoyed that some of those issues were oversimplified. So, like, Burn and Fjordankill are good, but Solaria is bad, and then not much exploration of that. Fjordankill is full of monsters, they're bad. Well, are they really? That wasn't explored. So it would have been interesting to see the grey areas of the different arguments that were brought together. And Earth, or Haven, as it's referred to as in the book, seems to only be important as like the transport hub between the different realms that are still open. And Earth doesn't seem to offer much to the magical table, as Earth doesn't have any magic of its own, and the rest of the world doesn't know that magic exists, doesn't know that there are other realms and magical beings and people with pointy ears and all this stuff, which I was a little bit sad about because I wanted to be like, yeah, Earth has secret magical powers that I didn't know about, but it doesn't. Just the other realms have magic and Earth doesn't. There are 3 magic systems in the book, one from each of the 3 realms that are mentioned: Burn, Fjordankill, and Solaria. And there are soft magic systems, so there's a lot of, they pointed their hands in the air and then something shimmered, which was interesting to see, but it wasn't explored in a lot of detail. There was a few interesting scenes where something cool happened and then Maddie went off and did something else, which was fine because then what was explored were some of the subplots that Maddie was dealing with. So there was all this magic, but it was Maddie who we were interested in. And one of the subplots made me gasp aloud. Like, I was in the train station reading this book and I went, it was good. So I really got into the characters and really got into all of Maddie's relationships with her family and with her best friend and with the new people that she was meeting at the Havenfall delegation party, I guess you would call it. But my favorite part of the book was Maddie's journey from being self-conscious teenager to just a young woman who knows her shit. And when I read the dedication at the end, I was just flicking through and saw the dedication, and the whole novel just seemed to come full circle. I'll read it. To everyone who's ever felt like they don't have a place. This book is a love letter to anyone who feels like they're not enough. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.